All right, welcome everybody to Wine Talks with Tesh. First and foremost, you will notice that this is the dopest the show will ever look. And it's thanks to a lot of the guys standing behind this camera making this happen. So first and foremost, thank you guys for tuning in. I love and appreciate y'all, and I miss you guys. I miss spending time with everybody. Stay strong, wear your mask. Today we're going to be tasting two wines. The first one that we're going to be tasting is going to be Chateau Saint Jean Pinot Noir from California. The second wine that we're going to be tasting and talking about is Tinto Ray Super Tinto from Dunnigan Hills, which we'll talk about where exactly is Dunnigan Hills shortly. But before we get into that, first and foremost, if you have the Chateau Saint Jean Pinot Noir, pour yourself a glass. As you know, I am a big fan of not waiting because, you know, we need to drink while we do these things. Otherwise, what's the point? So, enjoy your glass while we get started. But before I jump into the wine and talk about the winery, I just wanted to give two quick shout outs. First shout out I want to give to South Restaurant. If you guys have not been to South and had their fried chicken, you are missing out. It is the best fried chicken in Sacramento, and I highly recommend it. The owners are fantastic. The employees are fantastic. The GM is amazing. Go say hello. Show them some love. We partnered with them this week to pick up the wines. And hopefully we'll get to partner with them again somewhere down the road. The second shout out that I want to give, aren't familiar, Google their page, Metro Audio Visual. Check them out on Instagram, check them out on Facebook, give them a like. is because of them. That's the team behind the camera right now who's making this what it is. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. Next one, we're just going to get right into it. Chateau Saint Jean. A lot of you guys have probably heard of Chateau Saint Jean. It is a pretty popular wine, or I should say, it's a pretty popular winery. However, I like to put the underdogs in front of you guys that are like good bangs for your buck, right? So the Chateau Saint Jean Pinot Noir, which I already have in my glass, this is California appellated. It is coming primarily from three separate regions within California. It's coming from out of Monterey, Santa Barbara, and Carneros. So you're getting really good Pinot Noir. All of those vineyards, by the way, Chateau Saint Jean and Treasury Wine Estates, which is the head company, they own all of their vineyards. So everything that you're getting, they own, they control, they manage their vineyards, they make it amazing, okay? So this Pinot Noir, or this winery, was founded in 1973. It's been around forever. It was originally named after a young lady named Jean, who was the sister, wife, and sister-in-law, not in that order, of the three guys who owned the winery, right? So it was a family affair, and it has been around ever since. Their current winemaker is Margot Van Stavern. She's a female winemaker. She was named Winemaker of the Year by Wine Enthusiast several years ago. And the reason why I wanted you guys to try this Pinot Noir, because I know a lot of you guys are probably like, really, dude, Chateau Saint Jean, like I can get that from the grocery store, right? And the thing that I have come to appreciate, having been in sales for a year now, is that some wines can just come from anywhere and can really blow your mind, right? And this is one of those wines. So if you have your glass, go ahead and taste it and smell it and enjoy everything that it has to offer. When I smell this wine, I pick up on a lot of strawberries and cherries and maybe just a hint of vanilla. So really intense. Got a little bit of a baking spice to kind of complement that vanilla. All probably comes from the oak that it's aged in. I believe this wine gets about 9 months and 33% new French oak. And as a result, it's just really, really good. If you guys are tasting it at home, I hope you guys are as impressed with this wine as I was, especially for the price point. I think you get a lot of bang for your buck. And I'm going to enjoy the rest of my glass. So, the other thing that I love about this wine is I have poured this wine at tasting events throughout Sacramento, and over time, I have noticed that I started to hear the same thing. A lot of people kept coming back to my table where I was pouring for this particular Pinot Noir and going whoa, that one really surprised me. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And so it's always nice to have that confirmation of you have your thoughts and your ideas behind a particular thing, and then to have people come back to you repeatedly and just kind of confirm that, right? I think it over delivers, and I think it's a wine that's accessible, and I think we should all drink more of it because it is hard to find good wines at good price points. So cheers on this one. By the way, if you're picking something off of the menu at South to pair this with, I'm not sure if it's on their current menu, but they did I believe they did gumbo a while ago, and it was bomb. And I just think that would be a perfect pairing. Hell, even if you're just having the Petey's fried chicken, that would be a great call too, just to wash that chicken down with this Pinot Noir. So yeah, I hope you guys love that wine. If you need access to it, South carries it. It's a pretty accessible wine. You should be able to pick it up at most places. So the next wine that we're going to talk about is we're going to do something different today. I have a guest on today. We're going to do something different in that I know it's Wine Talks with Tesh, but I'm actually not going to do a lot of the talking. I'll be having a guest on today. Her name's Sara Wilkerson. She's a friend of mine. She's awesome. She works for the winery who produces this. And in just a moment, we'll have her up on the feed as well. And as soon as she joins us, we'll start firing some questions at her. If you have the Tinto Ray, now's probably a good time to go ahead and pour yourself a glass. while we wait for Sarah to come on and join, we will. Oh, she's live. Okay, perfect. Sara, how are you? Sarah, can you hear us okay? Hang on, guys. I think we have some technical difficulties. Uh, Sarah, if you're there, go ahead and talk. Or at least say hello. Oh, there you go. Beautiful. Oh, okay, cool. We can fix that in just a moment. Better? Perfect. How are you? I am doing well. I think this is the closest I'm ever going to come to showbiz, so I feel very fancy. Uh, Try and check this out today. So my first question for you is, can you tell us a little bit about the winery itself, right? Obviously the label says Tinto Ray, but there's a bigger umbrella company, right, that kind of oversees it all. If you could tell us about just a quick recap on the history and all the different brands that you guys make and produce. Awesome. Awesome. Very cool. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about this wine in particular, right? Tinto Ray. Where did the name Tinto Ray come from?
All of our grapes, like I said, come from our property, and they're all made fairly traditionally. I've tasted with a lot of great, really, really knowledgeable people in the wine industry that have tons and tons of Spanish wine knowledge. And the thing that kind of came home to me when tasting with these guys was that these wines are all really varietally correct, and they taste like they're supposed to, like they're from Spain. So you don't find a lot of domestic wines like this one. in the market anywhere. So I think it brings something really unique to the table that you won't just find, in a random grocery store. It's a little bit more special.
I absolutely agree with you on that. I find this wine to be much more traditional than I expected for something that's coming from so close to home, right? That being said,
Right.
can you tell us what the varietal composition of the wine is, and like what kind of aging process you guys put the wine through?
So the predominant grape varietal in this one is Tempranillo. Followed up behind that are Tannat, Petit Verdot, and then Graciano, which is a really kind of little tiny producing grape from Spain, usually very low yields, used mostly as a blending grape. And we remarkably have that planted on our property. This is going to spend about 30 months in a little bit of French oak and a little bit of American oak. So the American oak is the Spanish tradition thing that we go back and we talk about. The French oak, not so much, but we like to do our own spin. So I kind of look at this wine as sort of like a super Tuscan, like a Spanish super Tuscan, if that kind of jives at all with you. I think that's kind of how I describe it. So it's like a roll breaker.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely pick up on that. Like you mentioned American oak, but like the first thing I noticed with this wine is much more rustic than typical California wines, right? It has this really nice like chocolatey tobacco with underlying like notes of like dill. And so, I knew that it was Tempranillo right from the get-go as a primary grape. But then as I tasted it, I was like, oh my gosh, they used American oak. And I just kind of lit up because it made me excited about the wine, right? Cool. Well, that's awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about why Spanish varietals grow really well in Dunnigan Hills?
So if you think about the Rioja region of Spain, where most of the Tempranillo comes from, you think about the climate, right? You're going to think very hot, very dry, and very sunny. So if you go a half an hour north of Sacramento, or really go outside right now, you're going to get hot, dry, and sunny. So these grapes love our soil. We have like a red kind of granity type soil up at the winery. So the grapes love that type of soil, same soil as in Spain, and then kind of the same weather profile. Very little rain, tons of sun, tons of heat. So it's almost like a parallel universe, if you will, in this little tiny wine region just north of where we are.
That's dope. Thank you. And then I guess the final question. I love this wine, right? I think if you're looking for a Spanish style wine, right? And even though it's not from Spain, to have something from so close to home that drinks very Spanish-like and it's kind of true to that nature, I think you get a lot of bang for your buck here. And it's local. On that note, I haven't been to the winery in quite some time. The last time I went to the winery was when I was a manager at Piatti, and I took my staff there, and we had this nice big tasting out in the vineyards. You guys' tasting room hadn't even been finished yet. I think you guys had just broken ground on it. Is there any chance that you can tell us a little bit about what the tasting room experience is like and why people should actually come and make the trip? Because I've seen the photos, and I haven't been back, but I've seen it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this place looks absolutely stunning. I want to come drink some of this wine and play bocce ball out there.
So yeah, this winery, I always say it's kind of like somebody plucked up a really beautiful winery from Napa and then just dropped it in the middle of a field. It's really bizarre because you take this long journey up the 5, and then you get off and you're kind of on these winding dirt roads, and then out of nowhere, it's grapes as far as the eye can see. The picture behind you, Tesh, is kind of an older picture of our tasting room. We've actually expanded on it quite a bit since that point. The view is incredible. You sit out on our back patio and you can see the Vaca mountain range that separates us from Napa. And in between us and those mountains is just hills and hills and hills of grapes. It's literally like nothing I've ever seen in Napa or really anywhere else. It's definitely unique, very special, and for those of us that are local to Sacramento, it's only 30 minutes as opposed to the hour plus that you'd have to drive to find something even close to being equal to it. So definitely, if you're local take the trip up. The wines are fantastic. The tasting room staff is second to none. And we've got great food trucks on the weekends, and we're open Monday through Friday from 11 to 4. So grab a picnic, pack a picnic, and come sit out on the back deck and enjoy the view and have some snacks. It's really, it's hard to explain unless you've seen it.
I definitely agree. Yeah. Awesome wine. Thank you for breaking down the history and the winemaking process and what goes into it. I guess I have one last question for you. First, thank you for coming. But final question is, what would you pair this with if you could pick anything? And then if you could pick one thing off of South's menu to pair this with, what would you go with?
For me, I am a crazy carnivore. So this wine with like a grilled steak or some grilled lamb chops, like 100%. I was kind of checking out South's menu earlier, like I don't already have it memorized. But for this, you can ask. I spend a lot of time in that place. For this, I would probably go with the ribs. I think that the smokiness of the ribs with that barbecue, that sweet barbecue sauce would really kind of bounce off of this wine. I think it's got the full body and the full flavor profile to stand up to a full flavored sauce, like a barbecue sauce. This or the fried chicken. Everything goes with fried chicken. So
I definitely agree. You can't go wrong with fried chicken, right? Fried chicken is always the right answer. Well, Sara, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and coming to participate with this little thing that I'm doing. I love your guys' wines, obviously. I've been a fan over the years. Tell everyone at the winery to keep doing what they're doing, and I'll bring my family out soon to come visit you guys. And for those of you who are watching, go visit them. They're good people. Sara, thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, you guys. Happy Friday.
All right. Now, guys, so that was awesome. I really appreciate Sara taking time to come out and talk to us about the wines. I hope you guys like this wine as much as I do. I really, really believe in this wine when I talk about like the chocolate and the tobacco notes and really that dill character, which to me just makes it true Spanish, right? Even though it's not from Spain, I think it does a great justice to that style of wine. So that's what we got for you guys today. And I appreciate everybody coming in and checking out. Again, big shout out to South Restaurant for partnering with us and making the wines available to you guys at retail price. Go into South, order some foods, show them some love, get something to go, obviously, because that's all we can do right now. And then again, a big shout out to these guys at Metro Audiovisual for making this happen for me and making it as cool as it is. Feel free, again, check them out. If you're looking to have stuff done for yourself, they do insane work. And what I'm doing here, I feel like is very minor scale compared to the things that I've seen them do. They are a major events company and they travel all over the world. So yeah, keep your eye out. I'll be posting tomorrow about the next 2 wines. We're going to go back. We're going to partner with Good Bottle in downtown Sac. They do ship all over California. We're going to do the next wine tasting on July 22nd. And that one will be fun too. I'll post the wines that you should go pick up tomorrow, and I'll have links put up on my page for each of the wines. We're going to do 2 whites next time, and I'm looking forward to it. Chris at Good Bottle is good people, and we're happy to show them some love. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you love the wines, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Cheers.